Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Merry not so stupid o'clock. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Tiffany Daniels, and I want to talk on two things here. First, we are going to go with the good news. Yay, my hot water is back. I do enjoy when I can actually message maintenance directly. They come right over and they fix the problem. So, yay, shower. I don't look like a freaking greasy mop. You know, the kind of greasy mop that only a mother can love. Also, we had a couple of hecklers on our online live stream last night. One of them in particular is not welcome back to my channel. He continuously and slowly got more personal in his attacks against me, and he attacked one of the other new people that came in. His name is Gary. I hope he's all right. Who shared a personal matter in regards to the toll that masking can take, especially when you're masking and you have PTSD, and made an extremely inappropriate comment. So, I'm going to comment on that this morning. I will not tolerate anyone coming into my channel and telling me how to run it, nor will I adjust how I act, how I speak, how I talk, how I think according to somebody else's feelings who I don't even know. I spent years becoming more comfortable and being in my own skin when I had the world telling me that everything about me is wrong. I am sure as hell not going to change everything about me in order to suit someone to spare their feelings. I do not do anything in order to be out and out cruel towards anyone, but I am not going to change myself to, spare some snowflakes' feelings. And sure as hell, you're going to sit there and tell me I'm not progressive. Have you met me? What in the name of God makes you think that I'm going to be one of these so called woke progressives? I'm Gen X, baby. I do not trust the media. I do not trust these so called woke individuals who yet always seem to leave people with disabilities entirely out of the equation every time they bring out inclusion. The so-called people who continue to sit there and kiss people like AH's ass while they can't seem to be bothered to assist people who are really being hurt, abused, and tortured like the people we're going to be talking about this morning. And what else you're not going to do? When we talk about real subjects like disability and masking and being a safe place for people to be able to come from to be their authentic selves, what you're not going to do is make light of somebody's trauma when they speak about it in the comments. I will not tolerate it on my channel. Period. So if anybody else comes trolling in and you bring in either A, I'm not progressive enough, or B, attack somebody's trauma, or C, bring in your outdated male chauvinistic bullshit, you're booted. Period. Bye bye. See you later. And guess what, snowflakes? If my channel is so freaking offensive to you, in the words of the wise and great master of us all, Foamy Squirrel, the squirrel, go watch a cat video. Alright. Now that I've had my say, The usual disclaimers. First off, you are going to see the link to the report we're going over this morning right there in the description box, alongside the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the ever-present templates. Folks, you know what to do. Sign your name, click on your senator, and the ever-present and self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Now, trigger warning, 2 of them. This report is from 1982, folks. They use very old, outdated ableist language. This is not coming from me. I'm simply reading it as it is on my screen. And also, folks, when we talk about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? All right, and folks, it is 8:41 a.m. in the morning. I am barely coherent. I have not had my second cup of coffee yet. I'm already foggy-brained because, yeah, today I have to go at a Play It Again Sports and get me some resistance bands. So, yeah, if I stumble over my words or once again address the bastard that came into my stream and started attacking every neurodiverse person there, my apologies in advance, all right? Ableism will not be tolerated on this channel. You will not come into my stream and force us to mask to make your snowflake feelings feel better. Go fuck off. Alright, sorry. Okay, so expect a Twitter rant on this later. Alright, so we're moving on to Health and Safety Code Section 1550C, which is where we left off yesterday. And it says it provides the State Department may suspend or revoke any license or permit issued under the provisions of this chapter upon any of the following grounds in the matter provided in this chapter. Conduct in the operation or maintenance, or both, of the operation and maintenance of a community care facility, which is inimical to the health, morals, welfare, or safety of either an individual in or receiving services from the facility or the people of the state of California. Respondent has violated Section 1550 in the manner set forth below. Respondent has misused and abused behavior modification therapy using adversives in a manner which is inimical to the health, welfare, and safety of the residents of BRI in the following manner. By the way, since 1982, thank God we've come around to the concept that use of adversives, period, is bullshit. But moving on. The term adversive as used in this accusation means the application of corporal punishment or other painful or noxious stimuli, right? It does not include consequences which do not involve pain, discomfort, or humiliation, verbal disapproval. Oh, great. So, telling them to, don't speak out. God. But moving on. The idea of using corporal punishment, folks, to punish someone for acting within the capacity of what their disability is, yeah, it's insane. Moving on. Frequently during the period of licensure, residents received excessive bruises from the administration of excessive and unnecessary adversives. On or about January the 31st, 1981, and or about February the 7th, 9th, 21st, and 28th, 1981, Blank had bruises, cuts, and drainage from open wounds on his buttocks as a result of pinches. Oh my God. On occasions during the period from September through 1980 and unknown occasions before and after those months, Blank had numerous marks, scabs, and scars caused by pinches on his buttocks. Jesus. And that was before they started electrocuting us. Anyone else want to sit there and tell me it was for their own good? On numerous occasions while Blake was a resident at BRI, he received bruises on his buttocks and legs. On about May 8, 1980, Blake was badly bruised on his buttocks and legs as a result of adversives administered to him by respondent. On or about March 24, 1980, Blake received a black eye while he was being forced into spank position to receive an adversive called a water squirt 2 by respondent. In spank position, a resident is held with his hands between the worker's thighs and his legs behind his back. In or about December 1980, Blank fell while his hands and arms were restrained as part of his behavior modification program. Blank received a cut on his chin, which is required stitches. In or about January or February 1981, Blank's respondent employee postponed a doctor's appointment for Blank because he was excessively bruised by the administration of adversives. Oh, fuck! And you tell me they don't like to hide shit? They literally kept him from a doctor's appointment because they didn't want to be caught. On about February 5th, 1981, Blank was bruised on his inner thighs as a result of the administration of adversives by respondent. On or about February 5th, 1981, Blank had scar marks on his back and inner thigh. Complainant is informed and believes that they were marks caused by administration of adversives by respondent. In January or February 1981, respondent caused or allowed to become excessively bruised by the administration of adversives. On occasion during the period of September the 3rd through December the 15th, 1980, and on unknown occasions before or after that period, Blank respondent's employee wrestled Blank to the floor to restrain him. On some of those occasions, Blank received bruises and or cuts on his mouth. Such action should not have been necessary and adequately administered programs. On one occasion during the period of September the 3rd through December the 15th, 1980, Blank's tooth was chipped while BRI employees were wrestling with Blank. Got enough occasions? On occasion during the period of September the 3rd through December the 15th, 1980, and on unknown occasions before and after that period, Blank picked Blank and banged him against the wall. On some of these occasions, Blank was restrained and was wearing a helmet that bumped against his mouth, causing his lips to be cut. Such actions should not have occurred in an adequately administered program. So he slammed his head repeatedly into the wall and his back? And all you did was close it down? Why wasn't this place prosecuted? On one occasion during late April or early May 1980, Blank had bruise marks on his buttocks that were caused by respondent. On or about May 10th, 1980, Blank had extensive welts and bruises on his buttocks that were caused by respondent. During his residence at BRI, Blank's behavior deteriorated unnecessarily due to improper treatment and unprofessional use of adversives. Exactly. During the period of January 1980 to July 18, 1980, Blank's behavior deteriorated unnecessarily due to improper treatment and unprofessional use of adversives. In or about May 1980, and as for an unknown period of time before and after that month, there was no adequate system of monitoring the number of adversives administered on any given day. In or about January through May 1980, an excessive number of adversives were administered as evidenced by the following. On April the 24th, 1980, Blank was administered 77 spanks for hitting himself. 33 spanks for crying, and for other behavior. In addition, blank received 100 water squirts. On occasion during the above period, blank was spanked up to 60 times a day. In 1980, blank received 15 spanks on one day and 17 on the other for scratching other children. Okay, explain this shit to me. So you don't want them hitting themselves, so you're gonna do it for them? Make it make sense. In or about January and February 1981, as many as 30 pitches were administered to blank on his buttocks in a single day. In addition, he received occasion as many as 30 spanks a day on his buttocks. During the period of September through December 1980, and for an unknown period of time, before and after those months, responded threatened to fire employees for not leaning hard enough on residents who were bent over to be spanked, or for not giving an effective spank or pinch. This procedure was unnecessarily punitive and humiliating for the residents. On one occasion during the period of September the 3rd, 1915. Okay, so let me get this straight. You got onto them because they just wasn't hitting them hard enough? Wow. Sorry, folks. Flies. In the middle of winter. Thank you, weird weather. Missouri. Okay, moving on. Where was I? Okay, yes. On occasion during the period of September the 3rd to December the 15th, 1980, blank consultant for respondent instructed blank a staff member to grow his fingernails longer so he could give an effective pinch. So, what you're telling me is you wanted them to bleed. You sick bucks. Such pinches were administered with fingernails and caused excessive and unnecessary cuts and bruises. Respondent has misused and abused behavior modification techniques in a manner which is inimical to the health and safety of the residents of BRI and to the residents of the state of California as follows. On occasion during the period from September the 3rd through December 15th, 1980, and unknown occasions before and after that period, respondents' employees administered behavioral research lessons to the residents. The lessons would be devised and scheduled by blank to be administered hourly and did not constitute proper or ethical use of behavior modification principles. These lessons include the following. Blank would be prompted to throw a task and then an aversive would be administered. Blank was not permitted to demonstrate behavior which would allow him to escape the application of an aversive. God. Blank would be prompted to destroy property, then would be water squirted for destroying property, without being given the opportunity to escape the aversive by appropriate behavior. To administer these lessons to blank respondent's employees would interrupt his performance of a task, an event that would generally cause blank to receive an aversive, thus confusing blank's ability to discriminate between approved and unapproved behavior. Because remember, folks, and it's same right down to this day with the current shocks. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you give in and do the behavior they're trying to prompt out of you, you get shocked. You don't do the behavior because you don't do what they tell you, you get shocked. It's psychotic. Moving on. Blank would be asked what happens if you hit or pinch and would be threatened with receiving a pinch if he did not answer appropriately. It was not demonstrated that blank was able to relate these lessons to his hitting or pinching behaviors. On occasions during the period from September 1978 through October 1980, blank and blank would threaten residents with a pinch if they did not respond to statements or to questions in an appropriate fashion. These threatened actions were not called for by the residents' programs. It did not constitute a proper use of behavior modification principles. One would pinch the underarm of blank and make blank repeat phrases. Blank would ask blank in various tones of voice whether blank wanted a pinch. Blank would make blank repeat phrases threatening a pinch if blank did not repeat the phrase. Blank made blank stand with his feet flat, his hands in his pocket, and his lips shut tight. Blank threatened to squeeze blank's hand. Blank did not respond properly. Respondent's employees and or consultants threatened to pinch blank if he did not respond appropriately. And they do, people. Remember, they didn't think they were getting hurt enough, not feeling enough pain from what they were doing back in 1982. So they upped the ante and now they electrocute them. Painful skin shocks, 45 milliamps of electricity just barely below the lethal limit, and they are still using the same techniques they did in 1982, which had California closing them down. On occasion during the period from September to December 1980, and on unknown occasions before and after that period, respondent would prompt residents to become aggressive for the purpose of showing how bad their child was before treatment at BRI. For example, in or about 1980, blank was prompted to grab an employee's hair so it could be filmed. Right? Food was scattered around the room by respondent's employees, and the scene was filmed to make it appear that blank has thrown the food. Respondent acted in a manner which was amicable to the health, morals, welfare, and safety of blank and of the people of the state of California by failing to design and implement an adequate program for blank, a deaf child, as follows. So they manipulated these kids, those videos, those testimonials we watched on YouTube. Fake. During the period from acceptance blank at BRI through February 1980 blank was suspected to be a deaf child. During this period, respondent permitted its staff to use adverses on blank under circumstances where it was not certain he could understand the behavior he was required to exhibit to avoid punishment. This constituted an unacceptable use of behavior modification techniques. In or about February 1980, it was confirmed that blank is a deaf child, and his parents so notified the respondent. Respondent failed to modify blank's program and continued to inflict water squirts and corporal punishment upon Willie in contexts where it was unlikely, if impossible, that blank could understand the behavior that was required to exhibit to avoid punishment. For example, blank received water squirts for not responding to verbal commands to keep his eyes closed while in bed. While at BRI, blank was regularly punished for crying without any effort being made to eliminate the possibility that blank's crying reflected his frustration at not understanding what was expected of him or how to escape punishment. This constituted an unacceptable use of behavior modification techniques. During the period that blank spent at the BRI, respondent failed to teach blank to communicate by means of sign language or any other means of communication for the deaf. Respondent acted in a manner which was amicable to the health, morals, and welfare and safety of the residents of the BRI and of the people of the state of California when respondent discontinued its program for residents, including but not limited to the program of blank, before scheduled medical or family visits. Respondent did this not for the benefit of the residents, but to allow bruises to subside for public relations purposes. Respondent has issued and misused and abused the use of restraints in a manner which is amicable to the health, welfare, and morals and safety of the residents at BRI, as set forth in paragraph. I'm not going to read in Roman numerals, folks. Respondent used restraints for convenience of staff and as a substitute for effective treatment procedures, and continued to do so in spite of repeated demands that it caused violating applicable law. So, in other words, it's once again, folks, BRI thinking that they are above the law. And unfortunately, the court's backing them up in Massachusetts. So, we're going to read this part and go ahead and finish up for this morning. Respondent was acted in a manner which is amicable to the health, welfare, morals, and safety of the residents of BRI and or the people of the state of California, and that respondents attempted to cover up the effects of its behavior modification therapy using adversives as set forth in paragraphs. Okay, I gotta do it in Roman numerals, folks. 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And not providing sufficient food for residents as set forth in paragraph, 21, and denying residents their personal rights to set forth in paragraphs 22 and 23, and retaliating against persons who complaining about the BR program as set forth in paragraph 21, and denying employees the Department of Social Services the right to inspect and investigate complaints as set forth in paragraph 20, and not providing a consistent program as set forth in paragraphs 24 and 26 and 28, and another inappropriate actions as set forth in this accusation. Well, this was a loaded video, folks. Loaded video. My God. And if you've noticed, this is from 1982. We have read the reports from the early 2000s up to 2017 on to ongoing reports. What are we getting from this? Nothing has changed from 1979 right down to today. Literally, the only thing that has changed is they have moved on from these earlier versions of punishment to something even more cruel and inhumane. A device designed specifically by Matthew Israel to, in his own words, inflict pain. And what are we inflicting pain for, folks? In order to hurt people. And why do they want to hurt people like me? It's simple. People don't. God, how do I explain this? We breathe wrong. People more than likely, whether it's the extremes of JRC or whether it's just society as a whole, want to ostracize us, vilify us, turn us into monsters, and then use that as an excuse to either use and abuse us or seek to eradicate us entirely. So, on that dark note, folks, I'm going to go ahead and close out for this morning, asking the question we've all been asking. If all this is clear from prior investigations starting back in 1979, if it is indicated in several cases, especially these 6 students who were murdered by this place, why in the hell has this place never had a federal investigation done on it? How is it that they continue to get away with murder and torture that is in the Special Rapporteur on Torture UN words? Inhumane, cruel, and inhumane beyond all reason. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and close out. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. Wish me luck at going to Play It Again Sports. It's cold. And I hope you all have a good one. Bye-bye.